Hey, Shackers! Welcome back to This Week in Switch 2. It's the 31st episode. It's the last episode of the year. We did it. Um, but yeah, I'm Asif Khan. I'm CEO, Editor-in-Chief, EIEIO here at Shacknews. That stands for Extremely Intelligent Extreme Intelligence Officer. At a time of AI, I have created EI to make line go up. And I can report, as one of the few shareholders of Shacknews, line go up, because I said so. And other bubble parlance of the times. I'm joined by my usual co-hosts, who have once again switched iteration or where they're located on Discord. I don't understand how this works. We have Donovan Erskine, news editor here.
What's up?
And we have head of long reads, David Craddock here.
Hello.
Who hasn't published a long read in almost 2 months, so he's slacking.
I'm like 6 behind. Holy shit.
I mean, he posted 3 different features in October, so I'm obviously giving him crap for no reason here. But yeah, check out 24 to launch making of Borderlands 4 or our retrospective on the PlayStation 2 release, where you can hear about me selling bottled water on the black market at Ann Arbor Art Fair, and how I bought a PS2 off of a truck. And that was like $200 or $300 in the year 2001, David. So I was like,
that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. Now that'd be like $1,000 in 2025. But yeah,
Next year, Asif. Next year we'll be celebrating the GameCube, which is relevant to this podcast. We're gonna have to have a podcast episode focused on the GameCube for its anniversary, I would say.
Yeah, and maybe there'll even be more GameCube games released on the Switch 2 app by then. Maybe like a whole 3 more between now and then. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about, a lot of news that we're going to talk about on this episode. But first, there are 15 days left in Doug Bowser's reign of terror at Nintendo of America. Now, we say reign of terror, but we mean that jokingly because Bowser, bad guy. Last week, we kind of thought maybe he was a bad guy. I'm wearing a bad guy on my shirt right now. I have my Ganondorf dunking on Link t-shirt on. But, yeah, we talked about it last week. I got blocked by Doug Bowser on Twitter. We posted about it. I named the episode last week Doug Bowser Alert. Apparently, that alerted Doug Bowser. So, revelation here. Someone at Nintendo is watching right now. So hi, someone at Nintendo. We salute you and happy to have you here. And I guess Doug Bowser might be watching also. So hi, Doug. Great job, in your time at Nintendo of America. But yeah, so Friday, we had a vertical video that was already produced, ready to go live about me being blocked on Twitter. Because, of course, we're going to make content out of that, right? We already made the content out of it. We were going to highlight it in vertical video form because 98% of the people who know about this podcast probably don't even know the name of the podcast. They just know there's this guy in a Shacknews hat yelling about video games. A lot of the time, it's about F-Zero. But sometimes he's shitting on Microsoft. Last week, we had one about me talking about how hurt I was by getting blocked by Doug Bowser. Apparently, he saw, and he changed his mind. Late Friday afternoon, Shacknews got followed by Doug Bowser on Twitter. And I got the notification as, I'm one of the people who manages our social accounts. And I was like, I posted that in our Slack. I'm like, guys, something's happening. And then maybe 10 minutes later, Techno Sucks on Twitter, I get a notification that Doug Bowser has followed you. So Doug Bowser unblocked me and followed Shacknews in a matter of 15 minutes, about 30 minutes before we were going to post that video. So I shot an update, I put on the fedora, and we changed the narrative. And I think I said it in the video. I'll say it again. This week, in Switch 2 is a source of positive energy on the internet at a time where we desperately need it, and also a force for justice. So, great work, guys. I don't know exactly how we did this, but we made a dent in the internet, and Doug Bowser now follows us with 15 days left at his time at Nintendo of America. He's about to become a retired private citizen of the world, and I guess he'll be following us going forward. So shout out to whoever alerted him about that. Maybe it was us. Maybe he has Google alerts for his own name or something. Like, who knows how this happened? But
maybe
yeah,
it was Reggie.
You think Reggie was like, hey, you know that guy I gave the gamepad to back at E3 2016? You should follow him. Even though I don't follow him, you should. Because I don't know if Reggie even would know my name. And like, so I was talking to Donovan before you got in Discord, David. I am at a interesting point now. Because when someone blocks you on Twitter, it unfollows them for you automatically. So I have not followed Doug Bowser back yet. Here's why. I want to know why. What happened? How did we get here? You know?
There's a solution to this, Asif. You follow him back and you DM him. Because if you follow each other, you can DM, right? And you can be like, hey, Doug, big fan. Love everything you've done. And why did you block me on Twitter? What happened?
What's all that stuff about?
The thing is, my DMs are a wasteland of crypto shills, people who hate me, and freelance pitches. And I just don't want to, there's like this new DM experience on Twitter. Like, apparently it's more encrypted or whatever. I have not set it up. Like, I'm kind of in this lovely place where I don't get Twitter DMs at all right now. So I'm like, do I really want to do that? I don't know. So yeah, I haven't followed him back yet. It's because so I still feel like I feel like the story's incomplete still. I guess maybe you're right. I need to do that, but opening my floodgates to that, I don't know. Because
just open them long enough to hear from Doug Bowser. And once you get closure,
I don't think you can opt back out. I don't know how that. I don't think there's a such thing as opting out on Twitter for anything these days.
That could be true, yeah.
So I'm not.
My theory on what happened was, like I said last episode, he might have misinterpreted a tweet or a post, thought it was like you giving him shit, and just blocked you thinking you're a random Twitter user. And I think what happened was either somebody in PR, I don't know if he has an assistant, somebody close to him, obviously, that can contact him easily, saw the clip, looking at Nintendo stuff, and was like, hey, do you know that you, blocked the editor-in-chief and CEO of this game's website? And he was like, oh, no, I know Shacknews. And then he went back and undid it. Would be my guess as to...
Well, it wasn't a clip, Donovan. They watched the podcast.
Well, yeah.
The clip wasn't live yet, right? We edited the clip and we updated it to say, hey, there's a happy ending to this weird-ass story. So they watched the podcast. They watched at least the first 10 minutes of the podcast, which means they also saw us talk about all of the things we were talking about with this new era of Nintendo and that documentary, that Did You Know gaming video that we were talking about last week. So, yeah. Anyway, hi whoever saw the video. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate you. If I could nominate you for a Do It for Shacknews award, I would, but I understand why you're a Nintendo ninja and you operate in the shadows. I get it. But it's just cool to know that there's a Nintendo ninja out there watching right now. Right now.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. You did it for Shacknews, and we won't forget it. But we will not know who you are, so we won't be able to properly salute you other than just by talking to you directly because you're watching right now, which is really weird.
I feel like that's going to fill the vacuum left by Doug Bowser's Reign of Terror countdown. We'll just speak directly to whoever is listening at Nintendo America.
Which means I can continue my campaign for a new F-Zero game because there's someone watching at Nintendo right now. They're going to hear my ideas. Just saying. We're going to do it. Operation Mute City is still a mission. I'm still carrying it forward. And, yeah. Anyway. Before we move on from Doug Bowser, I just, we were like, what does he do? I want to talk about things that happened during his time. And what I think he really deserves credit for. In 2020, the world came to a halt. And Nintendo was there for people, man. the Switch was the only console really in supply for most of 2020 because it was an older system, right? It was in its 4th year of existence. They had supply. They launched Animal Crossing New Horizons that year. And they supported that. They had directs. They had video presentations. That was a huge year for the company. And that he executed on the Nintendo of America side very well. When it came to localization, when it came to supply chain management, work from home, like all those things that corporations had to deal with. I thought Nintendo and Nintendo of America executed flawlessly in the year 2020. That was under Doug's management. Another thing that they did was they launched Super Nintendo World in America, right? The Los Angeles one. And then earlier this year, Donovan, Epic Universe in Orlando.
Yeah.
Doug was there. Like
we saw him.
You took a picture with him. Yep. So like, it's like we will never know exactly what he did, but we know what happened while he was there and how anyone in that position at Nintendo of America would be in charge of a lot of things, be it the messaging, the localization efforts, working together with Miyamoto. Another thing he did during his time was the Mario movie came out, and he was involved in the whole coordination of the PR blast. And think about that quarter before the Mario movie came out, Donovan, how those actors were everywhere, right? Like, you couldn't watch TV or late night TV or a YouTube, interview without seeing one of those voice actors, one of those actors talking about the Mario movie. The marketing for the Mario movie did extremely well. At the time, it was the most successful video game movie of all time. That happened under his watch, right? So, like, Those are several things that happened. And yeah, Nintendo shipped Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yes, I think that'll be the last thing that he did.
I hope he writes a memoir one day, because I just started Reggie's book a couple of days ago, because I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of what he did, right?
Yeah.
And I hope Doug Bowser does publish a memoir, because I would like to know. I love the details about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I hope he does write it all down one day.
Yeah, and I think I don't necessarily think it's his fault that Nintendo hasn't been as transparent in his time there. I think that comes from Japan. And I think Furukawa has kind of instilled that culture of no one's bigger than the company at Nintendo right now. And that includes Doug. But like, I wish he would have been more involved in like Nintendo Directs and stuff. I wish he would have done an interview with us. I asked for an interview with Doug Bowser. Every opportunity I had, I asked, and I was told no every time. I even pitched them on like vertical video ideas and like showed them the data. Like, here's why I think it would do well. Here's what we could do. And it was just brick wall every time I asked. So yeah, I am a Doug Bowser fan. I'll probably follow him after this episode. But yeah, like I had this weird moment where I'm like, huh. But also, it's weird now that he follows me, because like, he must be seeing the weather report and other weird things that I tweet about. He's seeing the daily Bubbletron post that I do. So like, I wonder how long it took him to mute me. We'll never know. But anyway, welcome to my Twitter hellhole, and I'm sorry in advance for whatever the hell I'll do on there. But yeah, what a strange outcome, but a good one, like, kind of showcases that, this little podcast is bigger than some people think.
In only 6 months too. Really. It's pretty wild that we've only been around half a year.
Yeah. Very short amount of time. But yeah, as the year wraps up, I want to talk about this, all these different apps and music platforms, YouTube, even Discord. They're doing these like year-end wrap-up things. Nintendo Music did one, and I apparently used the app more than both of you guys combined this year.
You did.
So I'm going to have you guys guess, just what do you think was what game do you think I listened to the soundtrack the most in the year 2025?
Got to be an F-Zero title, right?
What game?
F-Zero GX.
I'm just gonna guess GX.
Wrong. F-Zero X.
Oh.
Okay.
F-Zero X. Okay. I think the F-Zero X soundtrack is maybe the best N64 soundtrack. I absolutely love it. And I know Mario 64 is in there, David. I see you, and I know Ocarina of Time. You're like, how dare you?
Yeah. Okay.
I understand that those are excellent soundtracks as well. But yeah, like specifically, they released the F-Zero X expansion kit soundtrack. So these were songs featured on the 64 DD, David. So I was like, I have to listen to these. And there's this song called Regeneration. That was like my song of the year on Nintendo Music. I listened to it the most in April, May, and June of this year. It's interesting how they tell you what song you listen to the most each month. Mm-hmm. So January, it was the N64 version of Rainbow Road. Now you have to remember, what were we doing at the end of last year? We were counting down the top 96 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tracks. And and the N64 Rainbow Road was very high on that list. And that song's outstanding. Like, it's still one of my favorite songs in Nintendo history. You mentioned this game before we went live, David. My February most listened to song was the background music in the castle of Super Mario World, which is, iconic. In March, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Donovan. Remember, Welcome to the New World, that song?
Yeah.
That was added to Nintendo Music. That was my most listened to song. And I even made a hype video for Kirby Air Riders to that song that dropped the next month. Just pure coincidence, because at the time when I was listening to that, I didn't know that Kirby Air Riders exist. None of us did. It's just kind of funny, though. Like, they gave us that, and I was like, it's kind of like when Jump Up Superstar hit Nintendo Music. I think that was your most listened to song. And then, April, May, June, Regeneration from F-Zero X, man. I can't listen to F-Zero X in the car because it just makes me go fast. Like, I just, by nature, I'm like, I gotta go fast. But, in July, apparently I was really into the Hogan's Alley soundtrack, David. The Game Over song was my most listened to song in July. In August, Dire Dire Docks from Mario 64. Oh. So I have created a playlist on Nintendo Music. I call it Panic Attack Repellent. There are a couple of songs that I find extremely soothing from the Nintendo universe. Dire Dire Docks is one of those. So if you're ever feeling anxious, throw on some Dire Dire Docks and take some deep breaths. In September, it was Breaking Through, Heart of Gold, Donovan, from Donkey Kong.
Great song.
I think I finished playing Donkey Kong at that point, and that's, in the, not a spoiler, but in the end credits, you hear that song to this montage of all these pictures and great moments in the game. I love that song. It was also my most listened to song in September. And then, in October, I believe that's when we got the Adventure of Link soundtrack on the app. I love that title theme. It's a little different than the title theme for the original Zelda. The more I listen to Adventure of Link, like that soundtrack, David, the more I want to go back and play that game as an adult, because I was so god-awful at it when I was a kid. Like, it was very hard.
I've beaten it a few times, most recently a few years ago. You're going to take a trip pretty soon with a long flight.
Yeah.
You might want to try it there, because that game, I love that game, but it does get a little grindy, and you'll kill some time leveling up you level up attack, health, and magic, and you can sink some hours into that game.
And then, my last, they don't tell you your December song because it's not over yet. But November, it was Dream Chaser. That's the song for the track Silence on F-Zero X. So if we're looking at like what game I listened to the most, it was definitely F-Zero X and the expansion kit. And then yeah, the here are my top 10 songs. So, there's a Rainbow Road in F-Zero X, right guys? No?
Oh, really?
I don't think I knew that, no.
Yeah. 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 And it's delightful.
Wow.
So Rainbow Road was my number 10 most listened to song of the year on F-Zero X. Number 9 was the Canyon Layer in Donkey Kong Bonanza, Donovan. The kind of Western song. Kind of.
Good one.
This should surprise no one. Number 8 was Zebra Bonanza.
Zebra. My favorite Bonanza song, yeah.
Delightful song. Number 7, I really like the Lagoon Layer song in Donkey Kong Bonanza. I would just kind of throw that on when I was chilling. Number 6, David, I'm sure you'll like this one. Island Swing from Donkey Kong, but it's the Donkey Kong Bonanza version from the 2D challenge. But it's that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Number 5, title theme from Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, or The Adventure of Link. Number 4, Dire Dire Docks. I needed a lot of anxiety repellent this year, apparently. Number 3 was Welcome to the New World, the Kirby and the Forgotten Land song. Number 2 was Breaking Through Heart of Gold. And number 1 was Regeneration from F-Zero X Expansion Kit. So those were my songs of the year. And most listened to playlist was F-Zero X Expansion Kit. Second most was Donkey Kong Bonanza. Third most was F-Zero X, the plain vanilla soundtrack. Third most was Adventure of Link. And the number 5 was Super Mario Galaxy 2's soundtrack, which is outstanding. Yeah, those are the ones. And then it says that my most listened to game F-Zero X, The Adventure of Link, Galaxy 2, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and Mario 64. Because Dire Dire Docks is the one that shows up in my analytics, but I listen to a ton of Mario 64 music. I love that soundtrack. And what I think's great about a lot of these, and I mentioned it last year when I think we gave this, I don't know what award we gave Nintendo Music, but we definitely gave them something last year at the Shacknews Awards. I love that you can listen to these songs without having to hear the sound effects that would be in the game.
Yeah.
That these are isolated tracks. And you think about, okay, you can go on YouTube and listen to some of these, but you're going to hear a Mario jump sound, or you're going to hear a penguin crying, or whatever in Mario 64. Or Hyrule, you'll hear Link going, yeah, or whatever. So being able to just hear the isolated tracks, I think is the most magical part of this app, in that it's different than what you can find on YouTube. It is very much the most pure version of these songs. I think they do a really good job of that. Those were my that's my Wrapped for Nintendo music. What were your guys most listened to?
I've got a few songs here I'll call. Obviously, Jump Up Superstar will probably just always be my most listened to. That's my favorite, I think, still original song for a video game. But it's runner-up, Steam Gardens from Mario Odyssey, which is probably my favorite of the non-lyrical music on that soundtrack. How's it go? It's one's doo 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 doo. It's that rusty, broken down planet you go to halfway through the game, I think. And then of course the main theme from the Wii Shop channel.
do 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 do. You're just hanging out listening to the Wii Shop theme.
I think that's one where I opened the app and I'm just I can't believe this is a thing I can listen to now on a streaming service, and I just played it and it just.
Not only can you listen to it, you can extend it to 10 hours. Will you go insane if you listen to the Wii Shop music for 10 straight hours? Quite possibly, but you can on that app now.
That's a thing you can do.
David, do you have any songs you want to call out?
Yeah, I have my top 10 here. Hyrule Field main theme from Ocarina of Time. 3 songs from Tetris for Game Boy, title screen, ending, high five, and A-Type. 4 songs from Super Mario World, which was also my most listened to soundtrack. Those were Donut Plains, Bowser, Forest of Illusion, and the title screen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 5 songs. Underwater as well. I love the water music in Mario games in general.
Oh, yeah.
And then my number one most listened to song was Thunderhead Isles from Tears of the Kingdom.
Love it. It's an emotional song. Also, just like, I don't know if you guys have actually been there yet in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extremely emotional moment in the game. Like, what's going on there? Like, you're finally gonna get to the end of that journey. And it's like, it's a very somber song. And like, I can't hear that song without picturing the rain falling and the lightning. Because on Thunderhead Isles, like, lightning strikes the ground there like every 10 seconds. Like, it's boom, 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 boom. Like, it's like a peaceful and simultaneously chaotic moment in that game. And it's where I went to do all my dupe glitches when I learned that last year. But it's funny. If they had this last year, Tetris would have shown up on mine as well. And also Dr. Mario for NES.
NES?
Yeah. Would have shown up there because they have some bangers in that soundtrack. But yeah, I love the Tetris themes as well. But yeah, I think it's cool that they're doing this, man. Like, I'm not a Spotify person because I'm old. But yeah, I don't have a Spotify Wrapped, so my Nintendo Music Wrapped, and oddly enough, YouTube did a Wrapped as well. And I think it's the first year that they've done it. I listen to a lot of music on YouTube now because I pay for premium, and you can like minimize it and still play the music in the background kind of stuff. So like a lot of the new music I listen to is on YouTube. But yeah, like the video game music, I'm definitely split now between YouTube and Nintendo Music. I think Nintendo Music is kind of getting with it though. The Metroid Prime 4 Beyond soundtrack dropped the same day as the game did. So they're starting to do that. F-Zero 99 is still not on Nintendo Music. That bums me out. And Mario Kart World, obviously, still not on Nintendo Music. I don't know why. But yeah, I thought that was a cool little thing they did. And yeah, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online account, you can download and listen to Nintendo Music anywhere. It should probably be a Switch 2 app.
It definitely should be a Switch 2 app.
Yeah.
Like, like, come on.
I would love to put that on my TV with like surround sound. Like I guess I could stream it, but it just kind of makes sense to switch to. They could go all out with that too. Like they could show gameplay, silence of course, but just have like a reel of Super Mario World playing when you're playing tracks or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool.
I think I don't see why not. Like if you want, if this is an era where you're battling for screen time, why not give people more reason to use your screen? Like, right. But at the same time, like we've talked a lot of smack about their mobile efforts. I think that Nintendo Music's the best mobile app they've made. Like
probably,
I use it the most.
Easily.
But like we talked about in the Switch 2 review and all throughout the year, Diamond, like the Switch app is much better than it used to be. Being able to see your friends online, see what they're playing, and also the ability to upload videos to it and download them easily and share them easily. All that functionality is great. But yeah, I think Nintendo Music's the best app they ever made. No offense to Super Mario Run or to David's favorite app, Nintendo Today. Yeah. Let's hit some Nintendo news.
Let's do it.
There's a Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade demo out today. We're recording this on the 16th of December. It's out right now on Nintendo Switch 2. You can play this game's demo for free, and I believe the save file progress will transfer over to the full version of the game if you are to buy it next year when it drops in January. I'm going to download this, man, just because it's magical that there's an FF7 on a Nintendo system. That's just like that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I want to check it out too, just just to see that thing on a Switch. I think it'll be fun. I played a little bit of it when it came out on PlayStation, but good opportunity to dive back in.
My understanding is the frame rate is locked at 30 at both handheld and docked, and is stable. So this is going to be one of those better looking Switch 2 ports, and depending on how you feel about 30 frames per second, which I don't really care in a RPG, as long as it's stable, I'm cool with it. But yeah, I'm going to download this and try it out. I don't know about buying it again because I already bought it for PlayStation. Was that 4? Yeah. Didn't the original one come out on 4?
Yeah, it did actually. 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it right when
it was that straddle year. And then we're gonna get Rebirth on here. I'm not playing Rebirth. I've heard way too much about how long Rebirth is. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a complete shift from Square Enix where they were like, "Hey, we screwed up last generation by going platform exclusive with Sony," and it makes sense for third parties, man. Like, unless they're giving you a guaranteed payment that makes up for the lost sales, not being on 154 million Switches, it was a bad idea for a lot of their games. That being said, I don't think FF7 Remake could have run on the original Switch. So, or it would have looked like crap. So, this is probably the logical thing to do, but it sounds like they're going to try to catch up before the last, what's it called, Rebirth, comes out.
Well, Rebirth was the last one. We don't know what the next one's called yet. They haven't announced it formally.
Oh, okay, whatever. The Final Fantasy 7 out of this cinematic universe of Final Fantasies. Because, like, we have, like, how many of them have there been, man? There's, like, a Battle Royale mobile app. There's Crisis Core. There was the guy who wanted to kill Chaos. Like, was that Crisis Core? Anyway, there's, like, so many of these Final Fantasy 7 spin-offs. I can't really keep track. But anyway, it's cool that the demo's out there. It's like a huge moment for Nintendo fans and Square fans coming together in a celebration. So the Game Awards happened. I think that's a fair way to describe it. And Donkey Kong Bonanza was nominated for Game of the Year. We did see Breaking Through perform during the Game of the Year medley, Donovan. The singer came out on stage. Awesome. Like, that was a cool moment. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love that medley. Yeah. The Game of the Awards, really the Game Awards orchestra is one of the best parts of that whole production. And yeah, Flute Guy killed it. But yeah, we got to see like the actual performance of that song live. That was exciting. And Mario Kart World won Best Sports/Racing Game of the Year. I gotta say, guys, I think it's a huge disservice to both genres to merge sports and racing. This was a really, really good year for racing games. You know, like, you had Sonic, you had Mario, you had Kirby Air Riders, which was left off of that list, right? But then also on the sports side, you had Rematch, you had Skate Story. There are games in both categories that kind of got snubbed by merging the two. And I hope Jeff and his panel of whoever, they consider splitting these into two different categories. Because I think it's unfair to lop racing and sports together. But, you know, Mario Kart World, best racing game. Not that surprising. Sonic fans were mad. Surprise.
I'm not surprised there, yeah. I'm actually surprised that Mario Kart World didn't win best family game because you can play it with more people.
Yeah.
It seemed like it would be easier to get more of the family involved in that.
I thought that was odd, too. Because Donkey Kong's not the easiest game, Donovan. Like, when you...
He's not, but I think kids just love Donkey Kong. I mean, they love Mario, too, of course. But I think kids just love Donkey Kong. I just think that's a game where, like, a kid can just punch the walls and destroy everything and be, like, super happy, not doing anything else.
Yeah, you can just give them the demo and just leave them in Ingot Isle for a few hours, and I think they'll have a great time. So I think that's probably it. But also, like, I didn't like that they're just, like, here, Nintendo, here's the corner that you can be in at the Game Awards. I'll say it. What happened earlier this year when Nintendo decided to not give mainstream media outlets early access to the Switch 2 for review, I think that stained the impression of the company throughout the entire year. And I think it did impact review scores and coverage of their games. Like, you saw more think pieces about Nintendo. You saw less praise for some Nintendo games, I think.
Why do you think that they gave out Metroid Prime 4 review copies, but not others?
Oh,
other games.
I mean, we
got DK as well.
We got DK. I think it
oh,
really,
yeah.
It really boiled down to Mario Kart World not having servers live before launch, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And like, so that's the one first party title they had, and it's like, was the eShop even live on June 4th? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? So like, could you even download a game on June 4th? What I find really weird, it's not like there were spoilers for Mario Kart World. Like, you weren't going to spoil the game. I think it really boiled down to they saw how many units sold in the pre-order period, and they're like, we don't need reviews for this hardware device. And, like, I think that stained the games media industry's impressions of Nintendo throughout the whole year. I do think it impacted things. But yeah, like...
And it still got the Game of the Year nod. Or, yeah, nomination.
It got a nomination, right? Like, but it was a Expedition 33 kind of year. I think they won 9 or 10 awards or whatever. Put that on Switch 2 while you're at it. Seems like a game that would be fine on there. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, I believe. But yeah, so those are the winners from the Game Awards. We got like, what was it? Like a 20-second clip of the Mario movie?
Yeah,
yes.
And it was like, half of it was we had seen in the trailer is when Bowser Jr. presumably comes to rescue Bowser. But this time we saw Luigi hit him with the flying knee. Reminiscent of
Smash.
Isn't that a Captain Falcon thing in Smash?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a Captain Falcon move.
Yeah,
but also like it's just I'm so happy that we're gonna get to see Luigi like more
do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just be locked in a cage for the entire movie. Like Luigi saved the day at the end of the film.
Yeah.
But like getting to see more Luigi, he's going to be the comedic relief. Like Mario's more of the straight man in that duo. So like definitely. I look forward to more Charlie Kelly just being funny.
Charlie Day.
Charlie
Kelly's just always sunny. I do that all the time.
Sorry. Charlie Day, not Kelly. Sorry, my bad. Day man, night man. Yeah, Charlie Day. I thought he did a great job as Luigi. I think he's a great Luigi.
I do too. I'm glad he'll get more of an opportunity to shine in this movie.
Yeah, and every time I see the movie, it looks great. So I'm looking forward to that. I predicted that. I did say that we were going to get like something at the Game Awards from the Mario movie, and we did. A very, very tiny something. They also ran a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond commercial. So you got that. Jeff got however much money. I saw Kotaku reported that if you're not like one of the chosen ones that doesn't have to pay for Jeff's attention, it cost $1 million to get a 3-minute trailer shown at the Game Awards this year.
Ooh, right.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's a big production. And, Jeff had some moments where he was kind of a little more vulnerable, I would say, where he talked about the passing of his father. And also that, I didn't know this. He lost his house in the Palisades fire.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I was
so,
to learn.
Rough year for Jeff. And just props on being a professional and doing, like, I see a lot of people question why he is where he is. And, like, you gotta understand where he came from. And, like, one of the first video game documentaries ever he produced. And, like, some of the first interviews you saw with developers. And, yeah.
I cited him a ton in Stay While Listen. He did, before my books, he was, like, an authority on Blizzard history. He did this, like, multi-part retrospective with like a few people on GameSpot. He's been integrated in Valve almost since the beginning, telling their stories about the Half-Life games.
He's one of the first
people forget.
He's one of the few people who had the alpha build of Half-Life before it was released. Like you can make fun of Jeff and the whole Dorito King, Mountain Dew throne, but like he comes from games media. He's one of the original games journalists out there. So like just know your history, kids. Yes, he is now very commercial and makes a lot of money off of this. But at his core, he's a guy who really cared about video games and still does. I thought it was solid production. But yeah, it definitely seems like prices are inflating to be at that event. And also just kind of shitty. the Expedition 33 team, they had to pay for most of their tickets there. So yeah, they won all these awards, but they paid to have their whole team there. And they're all wearing these red berets. I thought that was cute.
Yeah. 2 rows pretty much blocked out, yeah.
They had a whole, like, 2 rows. I saw Joseph Ferris gave one of them a big hug when they won Game of the Year. Like, it was just cool to see the celebration, and congratulations to Sandfall Games on that huge win, and all those wins. We did get some other announcements. David, new Mega Man game. We haven't talked about this.
I know. I'm pretty excited. I'm not thrilled that it has the same art style as Mega Man 11, because there was something about Mega Man 11's world that didn't feel as, like, full.
Yeah.
To me, didn't feel as active. But I think Dual Overdrive, Mega Man Dual Overdrive, I think it's called.
Yes.
Is looking pretty good. I know that it's, like, I think a couple years away still, but I'm excited. It's a new Mega Man game. I know the only complaint I've heard is that some people really want a new Mega Man X, but I've always liked the main series more. So I'm happy with this. I guess it's basically Mega Man 12.
Yeah. That reveal was cool with the orchestra. It was Wily's song. I don't know if you heard that, but I was like, when I heard those 4 notes, I was like, oh my God, this is Dr. Wily's music. So I knew before, like, when that shadowy figure appeared, I was like, that's going to be Mega Man. And then there he was. Awesome. That was a cool reveal. I thought, well done.
Yeah.
And we also get confirmation that was it Pragmatica or is that what it's called? Pragmata? Sorry. Pragmatica. That's like Mathematica and Pragmata mixed. Pragmata is not a Mega Man game. We can finally confirm that it is not. But yeah, both.
You see they tweeted that?
Yeah.
They were like, you can finally stop saying we're a Mega Man game.
Yeah. And also, both games are coming to Switch 2. I believe Mega Man Dual Overdrive is also announced for Switch. So that's going to be a game released in 2027 on the Switch, 10 years after the release of the system.
Yeah.
Wait, it's coming to Switch 1?
Yeah.
Or Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
Mega Man. Not.
I was like,
not Pragmata. No. Mega Man is coming to Switch in 2027, 10 years after the system launched.
That's what I mean, though. Like, I think it's running on Mega Man 11's engine. If you put those trailers for those two games side by side, they look very similar.
I agree. It's early, and they did there's an art contest going on where you can design a boss to fight.
Yeah,
and
that's old school.
Imamura-san, the art director on Majora's Mask and F-Zero X and Star Fox 64, he's submitted a boss design already. So it was cool to see him just like, he's just a video game fan now, right? Like, and he's just doing, side quests. But yeah, it was cool to see him join in on that. But yeah, if you're an artist, you have an opportunity to be featured in the next Mega Man game. There's a lot of time between now and then. I don't know, if you could come up with a random Mega Man boss name, like, what would it be?
Doll Man.
Doll Man?
I don't know what I do. There have been so many, but I've always liked the fire and ice theme. Like, there's been Fireman, there's been Flame Man, Torch Man. I would probably go somewhere there just because I love fire and ice, the dichotomy.
I feel like we need a spiritual successor to Splash Woman, because that song, that whole narrative, like, I don't know, Dash Woman or something. I would like to see a new Splash Woman spiritual successor.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe again Sorry, go ahead.
I would do Cinnamon, and he would wrap you up with like reels of film, and you'd like fight him on like Hollywood Boulevard, and
I like
a popcorn bucket on his head or something.
I could dig that for sure.
This could be his projectiles, Donovan, like shooting kernels of corn at you.
Yeah.
If Mega Ran isn't on this soundtrack, we riot.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be so cool.
Mega Ran better be on this soundtrack somewhere, because I can't even think about Mega Man without thinking about Mega Ran at this point. And he has a blaster that he performs with. South of Midnight got announced for Switch 2. I think that's next year sometime.
I'm excited about that.
Early next year.
I completely missed it this year, and I wanted to play it. So I'll probably hold out and play it on Switch 2.
Did it win the Game for Impact award?
It did, yes.
So it actually won an award. I think it was the only award Xbox won at the Game Awards. But yeah, that was a game that snuck out from Xbox Public. Xbox had a decent publishing year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they really did. And then yeah, some other weird stuff. Not at the Game Awards, but kind of like afterwards. Some other news hits. Wario World is now out on the GameCube app for people who have the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack subscription and have a Switch too. So you can now play Wario World. I guess.
I mean, of all the confusing things that Nintendo does that we don't know how they work, them picking the order and release dates for games on all these virtual consoles is one of the greatest for me because they just announced this and released it. We still haven't gotten like the was it Pokemon Coliseum, XD Gale of Darkness? They announced that like at the Switch 2 Direct in April. That's haven't come though. Was it Fire Emblem Path of the Radiance was the one they announced? That hasn't gotten released. There have been like multiple games from that day that have gotten like leapfrogged by stuff that was announced afterwards. And I just don't really understand why that is. But
yeah, Virtual Console was better.
I missed out on that one.
Virtual Console was just better, Donovan. This haphazard nonsense that is Nintendo Switch Online.
One reason it was better, Donovan, is they had set release. Like every Monday at noon Eastern, 3 new games would drop.
Yep.
Like every week.
See, yeah.
It wasn't this like, oh, it's a random Wednesday. Here's a game, right?
And it was like
3 week on a schedule.
It's that Fury Road scene with like the drips of water coming out. Like that's all. That's what it's been. It's been this drip drop, and it's 11 at night on Eastern Time Zone. They drop a trailer, and that's it. There's no predictability to it. There's no lead up. There's no previews. There's nothing. Like they're just doing it, and I don't think it's moving the needle like it would if they had a cadence that was proper, David, and like a schedule. Like if I knew here's what's coming out, maybe I would care more about subscribing. And I think some people, I think especially the expansion pack because it costs more, a lot of people are not paying for that. And it's just weird. They're like grasping at straws for what to do with Switch Online when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
And next year we get Virtual Boy added to the mix. So can't wait for that to be drip dropped on us. How long do you think it's going to take to release that whole library? Like 3 years?
Probably.
Anything other than all of those games being released at once will be hilarious.
Prepare for hilarity. That's all I got to say. Just prepare to be disappointed several times by Virtual Boy. Like the controller itself, the ergonomics of shoving your face in it while it's on your table, and the overall terrible games. Look forward to all of that. Actually, don't. And yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2 got shadow dropped on PS5, Xbox Series, whatevers, and Switch 2. So Larian Studios finally dropping a game here on a Nintendo system. Also, Shacknews Game of the Year, I believe, the year that it came out. I want to say, whatever year that was. Was that 17?
Was it? That was 2017.
No, that wasn't Game of the Year.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I don't remember.
Game of the Year that year was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Trying to think. It was highly
on our list.
It was high. It ranked highly that year. Well liked game, and yeah, a solid RPG from a great studio. It sounds like their next Divinity game, which was revealed at the Game Awards, is using a new engine because it sounds like they're having efficiency issues with Baldur's Gate 3. So I'm curious if we will see Baldur's Gate 3 on the Switch 2 at some point, because that would be cool.
I hope so.
That would be cool. Team Cherry with a double dose of announcements just out of the blue. This seems to be their MO now. Hollow Knight is getting a Switch 2 edition next year. that will be free to people who own Hollow Knight for Switch, which is all of us, I think. This might be the catalyst for me, David. I might finally play some Hollow Knight. Although maybe I should just play Hollow Knight on my flight. Anyway. And then we got a free Silksong expansion called Sea of Sorrow, also announced for next year, early next year. Awesome. I don't think people were expecting an expansion this soon.
Let alone free.
Yeah. But, when you make a gajillion dollars, I think releasing free updates is probably easier to do.
Yes.
Ask Sean Murray at No Man's Sky, who was too busy to show up to the Game Awards to accept his award. I think he had some family thing going on. But it was just, congratulations to No Man's Sky on winning that. That's an example of one of those indie games, though, David, where like they just keep giving their community free stuff. Like the community's like, no, I want to give you money, and they're like, nope, here, free. So cool on Team Cherry, man. Sea of Sorrow drops next year, and Hollow Knight Switch 2 edition. That's about it for the Nintendo news in the last week. Before we talk about some games we're playing, I do want to talk about, it's not actually news, but it's affecting the Nintendo share price. The Nintendo stock is down like 25% in the last few months. What's really caused this latest downward spiral is, like we talked about last week, the Black Friday sales weren't extremely good or whatever. I think there's a mix shift issue there where they have too many Mario Kart bundles and not enough Pokemon bundles. Because the base Switch 2 is still priced at $450, which is really weird. Why would you buy a Switch 2 for $450 when you could get the Mario Kart bundle for $450, right? So, Best Buy still has the deal going on. At least when I was there last week. So, there's this one narrative that the demand for the Switch 2 is just not there. At the same time, there's now fear-mongering happening. I know, dude. I saw the face of me. Like, I'm not entirely sure if we can read one Black Friday in America to extrapolate demand for the global demand for Switch 2. It might just be that American consumers are under pressure because costs of everything have gone up. The shutdown of the government really hurt a lot of people. People were starving, so not everyone has $500 or $450 to buy a new system. And I think the way that Nintendo has handled this release, when you drop something new in June, it gives you time to ramp up supply. The biggest thing that they said going into the launch of the Switch 2 was they were going to prevent scalping. And the one way you do that is by flooding the market with supply. And I think they did that. So it's just interesting that the other narrative going on right now is that component prices are going up, right? The price of RAM and the price of NAND flash are going up, and that Nintendo's going to have to raise prices. So on one hand, you have people saying there's no demand for the Switch 2 and they're going to have to lower the prices and discount it. And on the other hand, people are saying the cost to build the Switch are going up and Nintendo's going to have to increase price. These seem to be opposing forces here.
They're a bit at odds, man.
So me being a complete nerd and also heavily invested in Nintendo stock, full disclosure, I've owned it for many years. I still own it, and I'm actually considering buying some. This is not financial advice, but I did my due diligence, and I watched several teardowns of the Nintendo Switch 2 because I really wanted to get to the question of, okay, how much will this impact the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2, right? Nintendo Switch 2 uses a system on a chip made by NVIDIA called the T239. It is a proprietary system on a chip made in partnership with NVIDIA, but it does have RAM modules on it. There are 12 gigs of RAM on the Nintendo Switch 2. Those are two 6-gigabyte components that are part of that system on a chip. So these are low-power DDR5 RAM. This is not what you would see in a computer. Like a traditional RAM stick. That's not what this is. These are proprietary, smaller, mobile-optimized chips. They're low-power delivery. So where else are these found? basically in every smartphone. So that's not great, because there are a lot of smartphones out there. That being said, smartphones tend to use more than 12 gigs of RAM, but there are rumors that new smartphones are actually going to go backwards towards 8 gigs of RAM as opposed to 12 or 16 or 32. So I guess the question here is, the fact of the matter is that AI data center demand is causing RAM and NAND flash prices to go up. The question I asked was, how much will this impact the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2? My estimates are somewhere around $50. But we have to remember something, especially here in America. They already increased the price of the Switch 2, right? Because of tariffs. They launched on April 2nd at a time when the tariffs were 30% on China and in Vietnam, the two places where they make the Switch 2. There is now a trade war détente in China where the tariffs have dropped to 15%. You think about that. What's 15% of the cost of the Nintendo Switch 2? That's about $55, $60. So it's like they kind of have the cost of the RAM built into the premium that's being attached. And that's the same number. I think Vietnam might have gone down to 10%. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's like 30% down to 15 or 10% in Vietnam as well, from when they announced the Switch 2 price in America to now. So their tariff costs are down from April, right? But RAM prices are up. So it seems like the RAM and the chip in the Switch 2, it's somewhere between $30 and $50 recently. That could go up to about $70 to maybe $80. So that's $30 to $40 of an increase in the cost of the Switch 2. I guess my point is that buffer they created with their tariff pricing in the United States will likely account for the cost of this. The other thing going on is, Nintendo, they buy the, oldest shit, right? Like, the Nintendo Switch was built on a Tegra chip from 2015. These are not, the T239 is not the most advanced chip in the world. Obviously, Apple's M series on the Mac or their A series on the iPhone, those are, the cutting edge of mobile chip architecture. Samsung uses the Qualcomm chipsets, the Snapdragons. Those are on the higher end. Those use more RAM. Those have faster RAM, whatever you want to say. So between the NAND prices and the RAM prices, I think this is going to impact Nintendo Switch 2's cost, not to consumers, to Nintendo, by about $50. But these deals, these supply chain deals for a run of chips like Nintendo's doing, they tend to be negotiated on a 12-month basis. So if you look at it when did Nintendo start building the Switch 2? Probably in March or February of this year. We will not hear about the increase in their costs probably until April, if they have to disclose something. But also, why I brought up that thing about them not trying to oversupply the market to prevent scalping, if it's true that they have capacity for 19 million Switches by the end of March, which they said in their most recent earnings, they likely bought those materials before this price shock hit the RAM market. If Nintendo was not confident, if Nintendo was we had a terrible Black Friday, we're having a horrible holiday period, this is their largest quarter of the year. They would be obligated as fiduciaries to their shareholders to pre-announce a miss of their previously provided guidance. And I have railed about how Nintendo is super cautious and sandbags usually when it comes to their forward guidance. So what I'm getting at is I think a lot of this is overblown. And I haven't bought Nintendo shares in years. A very long time. And I'm very close. I am like staring at it. I blew up my Nvidia position in one of my largest accounts about a month ago when I saw the cracks forming in some of their stories. So I have capital that I can deploy if I want to. I don't have many good stock ideas, but I think with the launch of Pokemon Legends ZA, Donovan, and that bundle, and the Mario movie coming, I think there are catalysts in front of this company that will increase demand. We saw it the first time the Mario movie came out. I labeled it the Mario movie effect. It increased sales of all Mario games. Kart 8 Deluxe sold extremely well the year the Mario movie came out in 23. We saw Super Mario Wonder drop that year, but you also saw Odyssey saw a pickup in sales. The Mario Party game saw a pickup in sales. So like software is going to become a bigger part of the story on the Switch going forward. I see a lot of people who are idiots and jaboofers with blue check marks on Twitter call the Switch 2 the Wii U 2. And it's like, sorry folks, the Wii U sold 3.5 million units in its first 12 months. The Switch is already over 10 million units. And they're saying 19 by the end of March. And that won't even be a full year. So it's going to outsell its predecessor, the Switch, and it's already outsold the Wii. It'll probably outsell the lifetime sales of the Wii U by the end of this quarter. So I guess my point is, if things were really this bad for Nintendo, be it the Black Friday rumors or this cost of the Switch 2, it would be incumbent on them to disclose that to shareholders. Because they told us previously, hey, we're going to increase our dividend. Here's our sales target numbers. It's like there's the reality of what's happening. There's what the company has said to us. And there's what people on the internet want to create a narrative around. And I think it's just a trendy thing to say Nintendo is doomed. They're going to fail, blah, blah, blah. And then 4 times a year, we actually get factual information about how they're operating. And we're not going to hear anything until February. Their next earnings report is in the first week of February. So there's a lot of time between now and then to talk this stock down. But man, I already own way too much of the stock. I'm sitting here considering it every day. I'm staring at that chart, and I have become quite obsessed with it because I think it, at 24 a share and the ADR here in America, I thought it might be ahead of itself. Down here in the 18s, I'm like, it's getting kind of interesting. Because I don't know. Do you think the Pokemon game sold well?
I have a feeling it did.
It's like, gee, I wonder if the Pokemon game sold well. And also, if you were complaining about Mario Kart World being too expensive, you can now buy the game for free with the console you need to play it on. So, like, anyone who was complaining about the $80 cart price, here's your opportunity.
Right there.
It's right there. Like, it's right in front of you. You can get it now for free, or you could. I think a lot of those bundles have already, like, it's almost sold out at Walmart. I'm not entirely sure about Target because who the hell shops at Target anymore? And I did see it at Best Buy about a week ago. But I think that it's just interesting. On the one hand, Furukawa said, we are going to flood the market with this. And it worked. Like, the scalping doesn't exist. Like, think about the Wii and how poorly that launch went, David, where, like, you couldn't find a Wii for 6 months.
Fun bit of Shacknews trivia. Steve let us camp out and reimburse the Wii. Chris Remo and I camped out and got the Wii reimbursed. If not for that, if not for camping out, I wouldn't have gotten one for months and months.
Yeah, it was a miracle landing a Wii.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to address this because I saw a lot of our colleagues who don't know shit about finance or technology reporting run with a rumor that was based on like a couple of reports. The other thing going on here, this will impact every console. In fact, the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox 720 Series F for fail, those will likely get delayed. Internally. They haven't announced them, but they've announced their intention. But like, if you're gonna make a PS5 sequel, or better than the PS5 Pro, what are the specs? They have to be better. right? Like, they have to be better. But if the cost of making the PS5 is going up, what on earth is the PS6 going to cost?
A question for you from an investment standpoint. Like, there are these rumors that PS6 might be a handheld console like the Switch. Would that affect their price at all? Do you think they'd shoot for like slightly lower end hardware just to make it more affordable to buy, since it's a portable?
Yes, but even the low end hardware costs more.
Yeah,
that's the problem. And like, there's a rumor that Samsung's going to completely stop making SATA SSDs, and they're only going to make M2s, which cost more, right? So it's like, if this trend continues, even if it's possible, like, what I think's more likely, David, is that these things get delayed and the useful life of these current consoles is extended. That PS5 and PS5 Pro, it might be 2030 when we get a new PS6. Not next year, not 27, not 28, right? Like, I think they're going to try to push the useful life of these consoles out. And yeah, Steam Machine's kind of fucked. Talk about a horrible time to try to launch.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Like, that's not... there's a reason they didn't announce price, but since they announced the product to now, RAM prices are up like 200%.
Yeah.
And once again, shout out to Gamers Nexus. They do amazing work. They have a bunch of different contacts at these case maker suppliers, power supplies, coolant for like the cooling devices for processors, fan companies. Based on Gamers Nexus reporting, these suppliers of computer components that aren't RAM or SSD, right? Not processors, not RAM, not GPUs, the other things. They're seeing sales in November 2025 down between 30 and 60% from 2024. That's bad. That is a flashing red signal that the consumer can't afford to build a PC right now. And that's bad. And that's going to continue. So like, and Valve is not going to want to lose money on the Steam machine. They're going to have to break even at the very least. So like, what would have been an $800 console-ish PC might be going to $1,200 or higher by the time this thing launches. And yeah, this is going to impact the price of laptops. It's going to impact the price of every consumer electronics device. iPhone, any smartphone, any tablet, Steam Deck, I guarantee that they're looking at the next Steam Deck. But yeah, like when you have AMD, which makes the chips for both Sony and Microsoft platforms, and you have Nvidia, who's making the chips for Nintendo, they're both focused on AI. They don't give a fuck about gamers anymore. This is a problem. It's a big problem. So I'm not saying this isn't a problem. I'm saying that I can quantify the monetary damage to a unit of Switch 2, and it's somewhere between $50 and $70 is how much it's going to impact them. And we probably won't hear about that until April. That's my research that I did. I showed my homework, and yeah, shout out to Gamers Nexus for doing that. But they highlighted, they had this slide, I think it was from TrendForce, that showed that Nintendo's impact is going to be less than PlayStation and Xbox just because of the sheer specs of the Switch 2 not being as robust as the PS5 or the Xbox when it comes to storage and RAM that are in those devices. But yeah, like I do think PS6 and that rumored PS6 handheld, I think the timing of the release of those is in peril because of this. Which leads me to the conclusion, fuck AI, and it's your own damn fault, Microsoft, because you're the fuckers that are fucking funding all this bullshit by owning 30% of OpenAI. So, fingers crossed for all you gamers out there that the AI bubble bursts into a fucking Hindenburg and that we can buy our RAM prices at reasonable prices. But boy howdy, do I not think that's going to happen yet. Anyway.
Man.
Sorry. I'm so sick of AI being this. It's this fucking like self-fulfilling prophecy of the singularity. Of course we're going to get to the singularity. That's why we need all this compute power, David. They don't even have enough power to turn on data centers.
Yeah.
They got warehouses full of NVIDIA GPUs that they can't even turn on. Already. And then fucking OpenAI is going to buy 40% of the DRAM supply at Samsung. And they don't even make money. They're not even profitable. And they're committing to buying 40% of the RAM, the largest RAM maker on Earth. Like, insane. These are insane times. And, man, I've never cheered for a bubble to burst. I am cheering for this bubble to burst. And the impact is going to hurt average Americans. It's going to hurt people's retirements. It's going to hurt the economy, the banking sector, real estate. So many companies are tied up in this bullshit now. But it's like, it's directly impacting games, like gamers. And like, it's like collateral damage. We are an afterthought in this whole equation. And it's sad because we funded this bullshit by supporting these companies. Every single GPU we bought from NVIDIA, every processor we bought from AMD, every processor we bought from Intel, every RAM chip we bought from Samsung or Micron or, SK Hynix, like, they're turning around that money and they're fucking us. It sucks. Oligopolies suck. Anyway, moving on. Much better news. You guys played Skate Story.
It's true.
I did.
What do you guys think? I gotta hear it. What do you guys think? What do you think of Skate Story?
I think what stood out to me the most was the vibes and atmosphere. I love the music. I saw Bill talked about it a lot when we were talking end of year stuff. Great music. Just aesthetically, I dig. I think that something it does that a lot of skateboard games don't is go for the surreal, where we get Skate and Tony Hawk, and those games always go for that like realistic look. So it's just fun to have a game that's just super out there that has you literally skating through the underworld and a bunch of kooky, crazy settings.
I love the story that that you're a skater and skating is frowned upon in hell, a sin, like a hell, or a sin in hell. You'd think this would be supported, but it's not.
Like, skaters are so demonized that they are like looked down upon even in hell.
even the devil's like, whoa, come on.
Like, what are you doing? You're just skating.
We don't do that here.
Yeah, this is your riffraff. No, I love the art style. Amy was watching me play, and she just kept gushing about the art style. And like Donovan said, it's part of the atmosphere. But man, the music, the sound effects are great. And haven't never been into skating games. I played Tony Hawk 2 back in the day, but that was about it. But I want to see this one through just because I'm having so much fun. I think the animation is great. I think the move list is great. I actually feel cool doing tricks. It's not overly complicated. I kind of felt Tony Hawk always was.
Yeah.
And so, I'm enjoying it.
It's that button combo where it's like, okay, shoulder A. It's not left, right. It's not all these you can hold a different direction or whatever. But the thing I want to ask both of you, Donovan, because from a film perspective or just from a cinematography perspective, that camera in that game is, I think, one of the, it's kind of divisive, but also it is the thing that, I think they nailed it in that it feels like you're watching a DC shoe video from the 90s. One of those
throwback.
Those the tapes you would get in Tony Hawk, those highlight reels of Steve Barra or Rodney Mullen doing crazy tricks. The whole game feels like I'm watching a skate tape. Someone's trailing with a wide angle lens behind you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really...
Yeah, it's a cool camera. Yeah. I like it. It is very like you said, like retro sort of skate highlight reel, and seen it pop up. The skate games have done like a similar thing, but I do like the one they use in Skate Story. I like I think you mentioned it. You compared it to like the active reload from
Yeah.
Gears. That's good, where there's like the sweet spot for when you're doing a trick.
Which,
Thought that
like,
was fun.
at first you're gonna look at it, it's on the bottom of your screen, you're gonna like pay attention to it, but by the end of the game, you're gonna know the timing. So you're like, it doesn't like
Yeah,
it
there's a
becomes
rhythm
like,
to it.
which is kind of like Gears, right? Like I know the timing of how to reload a sniper in Gears without looking at it, right? So it's like that element of it is similar to like a shooter, which is weird. That's why I was like, this is like, I really love the gameplay of it. And then yeah, I can't wait to hear what you like. I hope you guys both finish it because I just want people to talk to about the ending because it's so damn weird. The game already starts weird, right? It ends way weirder. Like it goes completely off the reservation. I love that about it. It's like so absurd and funny. I don't know if you guys have run into the funny parts yet. Like, have you talked to the philosopher, David?
Not yet.
Okay, like there's like once you start chatting with him or like Rabby, or if you meet Coney, like those characters are just really fucking funny. And like how they make fun of bureaucracy. The fact that there's bureaucracy in hell makes all the sense in the world, but is also really funny. Yeah, I love it. I'm happy to hear you guys are enjoying it. And yeah, it seems like we have our game of the year votes in. It seems like people enjoyed it enough for it to show up on some lists, hopefully. But yeah, Skate Story is out now. There's a free demo on Steam. It is part of the PS Plus subscription, and it's also on Switch too. David, you're playing it on Switch too?
Yeah.
How are you enjoying the performance of it?
I think it's flawless. I didn't know this, but apparently they had to patch the PS5 version
Pro.
because it wasn't running well on Pro.
Yeah. And now they got it locked.
But I haven't had any issues on Switch too.
I hear it's locked at a stable 60 now on PS5 Pro also. So shout out to Sam spinning up a patch in a week for that. So single dev busting their ass. Happy for him, man. Such a cool game. Critically acclaimed. Yeah, check out Skate Story. It's time. It's time I finally do this, guys. This is the last episode of the year. This podcast was born out of us not getting a Switch 2 review unit and not being able to review Mario Kart World early. So I said, screw it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to take my time to review Mario Kart World. And boy, howdy, have I taken my time. We're in the last week of the year here at Shacknews. This is the last episode of this podcast. I'm willing to give a review on Mario Kart World. Surprising no one, I like this game. Don't love it, but I like it a lot. And I think it's really solid. Going into this year, we did that top 96 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tracks, where we streamed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe almost like every month, multiple times throughout the entire year of 2024. By the end of it, all of us except for Steve Tominski, host of the Steve Tendo Show, all of us were sick of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We're just like, done. Blech. Right? And like the question was, where the hell do they take the franchise from here? Because as tired as we were of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, those 96 tracks were outstanding. And it was a celebration of the whole series, right? There were SNES tracks, there were N64 tracks, there were Wii tracks, there were DS tracks, there were 3DS tracks, right? Like all of them. And it was a Wii U game rebuilt for the Switch 2. Like it was the whole history of the game. And I think that they've really done it. I think Mario Kart World was the answer. It's brand new gameplay mechanics. It's a completely different formula, right? The turning is sharper, right? Like power sliding is different. You can jump, you can barrel roll, you can wall ride. The whole anti-gravity thing is gone. You're no longer diving into the water. You're going to have a hovercraft on the water. You're no longer gliding. You're like an airplane flying when you're in the air. All those things have created, I think, the best gameplay moveset in the history of the Mario Kart franchise. And I would say in the history of kart racers. All of them. I think this is the best kart racer ever because of those gameplay mechanics. And you see what's happening on the speedrunner meta of this game. Like, what is being done with that moveset is astonishing. The ability to kind of hack the wall ride mechanic into these, like, if there's a tree, you can just kind of hit the wall ride and it keeps you up in the air and you jump off of it. Like, being able to chain together jumps, create these shortcuts that we would have never seen in another Mario Kart game, right? Like, these are unprecedented levels of shortcuts. So I think that's been, to me, the most impressive part of the game is the gameplay. And boy, is that important in a racing game. Especially, like, a game that we're going to probably be playing for the duration of the Switch 2 life cycle, right? Like, this is going to be that game as a service. So I wanted to highlight that. The other highlight, and I know I've talked shit about this on this podcast or even at the Game of the Year deliberations, our Shacknews Awards deliberations. Knockout Tour is really good. It is a excellent take on how to evolve Mario Kart for a new era. It's kind of like a Mario Kart Battle Royale race or a death race, right? Where at the end of each section, it cuts down. It's like, okay, you're top 24, top 20, top 16, top 12, top 8, top 4 winner. Yes, that's heavily inspired by how F-Zero 99 works. Yes, I'm going to talk about F-Zero 99 here. But Knockout Tour is really interesting. And that it introduced those intermission tracks, which were a divisive part of this. I actually like them. Because some of my favorite tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe were the linear ones, the non-looping ones, you know, Mount Wario. You know, like some of those ones were, it was a different take on how to race. And like kind of inspired by like a game like SSX or something, you know, like it's like a downhill race. I think they're like some of these intermissions are super cool. The one that really stuck out to me, and I swear I was just like, this game, I was vacillating between a 9 and an 8 on it for most of my review process, but it was this moment where I was like, this is a 9. That Grand Prix that ends in Rainbow Road, the transition to Rainbow Road is so fucking cool. It's so fucking beautiful. And like, just really impressive, man. Sorry, David, you were going to say something, I think, at one point.
Oh, no, I was going to agree with you. Like that transition to Rainbow Road just took my breath away. Like, it's Rainbow Road has always been a spectacle, and I think this is the biggest spectacle for Rainbow Road. And I also like that you highlighted. I feel like Nintendo has added more skill to these last 2 iterations of Mario Kart, but it's still offset by the luck of the draw in terms of items. Like, you can be the best racer on the track, but you might get blue shelled, you might get a lightning ball or whatever. And I think they're finding a better balance. And I like now that they've added item customization, you can probably, it's not the ideal way to play Mario Kart because it's not about that. It's a party game. But like, you know, you could probably configure it to where, you know, if you're with friends and you want to see who's the best racer, you could probably do that.
Well, and then even asynchronously, we can see who's the best racer because the time trial is that is where competitive Mario Kart lives. And it's asynchronous where you can be a speedrunner, you can just be grinding on your own, and then you can see how you place globally, right? And you can even go and watch the ghost of the best player in the world, like the best time. You can go watch their race and you can go learn what they're doing, right? So like you can try to mimic that. And I think the replay value of this game is unprecedented when it comes to a Mario Kart game. We're like 8 months into the existence, no less, 6 months into the existence of this game, and people are still learning shortcuts. This is still a fresh meta, right? There's still new vehicles being discovered. Like, hey, you can do this with this vehicle. You can do this with this vehicle, right? So like, it's not over. This is not a game that kind of released and was done. Kirby Air Riders, as great as it is, released and it's done. This game is alive. And I think that's like why they priced it at $80. Is that we've gotten 4 large patches from this game already. I guess 3 large patches from this game already. And in 1.4, like you said, they added custom items. We can now all join together in a room, like 4 of us, and go play the same knockout tour online together. That's cool. They listened to the community feedback, Donovan, when they patched the versus race lobby and ruined it in a lot of people's eyes. They reverted that in the 1.3 update. So it's like Nintendo gets a lot of shit, and justifiably so, for how they treat their games and their games as a service and how they kind of exist in a bunker. These devs care. They want to make a game that their players like to play. And they want to make a game that we're going to play for the duration of the Switch 2. So, like, I think all of that is there. There's a lot of love. I want to, like, the water racing aspect of it is not my favorite part of the game. I think it's like a slower part of most of the levels that feature water. But that was true in 8 Deluxe in its own way as well. Just water is a slower area. That makes sense.
That was the case in Diddy Kong Racing too, if you remember. Like, if you chose a hoverboard or hovercraft track, it was unwieldy and slower. You really had to exercise a lot more control over it. So that's just par for the course, like you said.
Yeah. But yeah, there's I mentioned like the controls. It feels like this game embraces Mario's platforming roots. Like it's like a platformer kart game. Like you're jumping, you're barrel rolling, you're wall riding, right? You can wall ride into another wall ride. Like you can wall jump basically and move up. The verticality in this game is unprecedented when it comes to the series. And like that's shown not just in the racing, not just in the multiplayer, which I've been focused on talking about so far, but in the free roam. Like free roam is kind of not the highlight for a lot of people, but I really like it, man. I think they got the vibes right in free roam. And free roam, like, you know, David, you're talking about why didn't Mario Kart World win Best Family Game at the Game Awards? Free roam is the family game part of it. Like, that's the one that you can hand to a kid of any age, and they'll go have fun. Kind of like what you were saying about Donkey Kong, Donovan. Like, hand the controller to a kid, let them beat up on rocks with rocks. They're going to enjoy themselves. You hand them the controller and you let them free roam and let them do whatever they want to do. They're going to have a blast. And as a completionist, like, playing those P-Switch missions, it's incredibly difficult, man. Like, they're hard. Not every P-Switch mission is just collect 8 coins in a circle or in a figure 8. Like, some of these are, like, very difficult. And I think it's cool how they have, 391 of them in the free roam. So it's like, yeah, in one sense, I wish there was more stuff that we could do in multiplayer in free roam. But at the same time, from a single-player perspective, this adds so many hours of gameplay that did not exist in any other Mario Kart game. And I think free roam, to me, is a net positive as a result. Here are some negatives. And Donovan, I know you're ready, because you have been very vocal about this.
Yeah.
It elevates several non-playable characters from the Mario franchise. Right? We got Coin Coffer,
Statement of facts.
Coin Coffer, Penguin, Parabitty Stingbee, Wiggler, Sidestepper, Monty Mole, but most importantly, Cow from Moo Moo Meadows. And I have established that I am the tribal chief of the Cowmains. So I will not hear any cow heresy or slander on this podcast. But I will readily admit I have not raced as any of those other characters. Because who the hell wants to be Parabitty Bud?
Yeah.
Definitely feel this is a step down from 8 Deluxe where they added, well, just from 8 where they added, you know, Isabelle, Link, all these cool guest characters. We even talked about the possibility of this becoming like the Super Smash Brothers of kart racers, where they could bring in Samus, they could bring in Captain Falcon since they have F-Zero tracks. Like, you know, maybe some characters, guest characters, will come later because there's obviously going to be DLC. But I do miss the variety of characters from 8 Deluxe.
A consequence of this decision for this roster is the character select menu in this game is ridiculous. Each cosmetic is treated as a separate racer. So you have 6 Marios, you have 6 Peaches, you have 5 whatevers, you have 2 Donkey Kongs, you have 2 Paulines. It's like a Breath of the Wild inventory menu of character selection. I don't know what's wrong with Nintendo, but like, get your menus right. Like, just figure out something, folks. Like, that character select screen is such a mess. And when you try to sort it, Donovan, I don't know what the fuck the parameter is for sorting.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what it sorts by. Yeah, it does something. It moves them around.
But what is it even sorting by? Like, I couldn't tell you.
Like, these characters are connected, kind of.
Vibes.
Vibe sort. It's a vibe-based sort. Like, so, like, those are two negatives. Those are, like, two legit negatives. I think there's some characters in this that are complete throwaways, and it's a downgrade from having Link and having Isabelle and having a Zelda level and having an Animal Crossing level. Not having Captain Falcon, but somehow having 2 F-Zero levels in your fucking game and having the fucking Blue Falcon for some reason, which brings me to the next thing. They got rid of vehicle customization entirely. Like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had vehicle customization. You could pick your glider, you could pick your wheels, and the wheels would affect gameplay. There's none of that in this now. This is just a, you pick the vehicle, deal with it kind of thing. And, like, the customization ends up being stickers you put on the vehicles or, like, just random things that, like, don't actually affect gameplay. That feels like a downgrade as well. But I do have, like, a favorite vehicle. So it's not like I'm mad entirely about it. I also hate that Rob has been turned into a vehicle. The disrespect to turn our robotic operating buddy, David, has been turned into a motorcycle.
No.
And they don't tell us what the HOG stands for. They're just R.O.B. R.O.B. H.O.G. What does the hog stand for? At least tell us, Nintendo.
Now I want to know. That's a good point.
These are the deep questions that I've asked in the many months I've been reviewing this game. This is why I didn't just rush out a review on June 6th. I could have pooped out a review on June 6th if you guys wanted me to, but like I wanted to see how this game was going to live as a service. It is a live service game, and I was like, is this just going to be it? Is this $80 deal with it kind of thing? Or are they going to improve it? They are improving it. And I think it's not over yet. The question I have, though, David, because I think you're right, and I think, Dom, you point out Donkey Kong and Pauline desperately need more cosmetic updates. I think they're going to add more to this game, content-wise. But my question is, how much is it going to cost? Because it's not going to be free, right?
No. I mean, I think there could be another pass like they did for 8 Deluxe where you pay some money up front, but you're going to get, I feel like they'll probably follow the same plan where over a couple of years they're going to release a lot of courses. At least as many are as in the base game so they can double it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll cost like $25-$30, but I really like this game. Whatever it costs, I'll pay it because I want more of it.
I know I'm going to grumble about it when it happens, but I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Because I also want more content, and they know that I'm an F-Zero mark. If they gave me an F-Zero Island, I'm buying it. Oh. Like, I'll if they gave me Donkey Kong Island, I'll buy it. If they gave us New Horizons and they like, added Tom Nook as a racer, I'll fucking give you the money, Nintendo. Just put the fucking characters in the bag already. Because, like, I think the problem with this year is the game's selling well on its own. It doesn't need a booster course pack, right? Like, it's selling. So they're not going to push that. But I think the important thing, and I mentioned it earlier, is they're listening to the fans, and they're watching the fans, and they're invested in keeping people interested in this game. So there will be live events and some other stuff. It's an esport. It was very present at Nintendo Live in Japan this year. So, like, at a time where Smash esports has kind of died, Splatoon and Mario Kart are the two esports Nintendo cares about right now. And Mario Kart World is at the center of that. They even had UNLV Bear as a commentator at Nintendo Live at the Mario Kart World tournament in Japan. So, like, they are paying attention to creators in the space, and they're trying to make a better game. I think that's important when it comes down to the $80 value of the game. And then, yeah, another update tied into what is probably my favorite part of the game, the vibes. This is a fun game to be in. With your friends, by yourself, driving around. hanging out, finding places, finding these odes to different levels, David. Like the first time I just found myself in Moo Moo Meadows, I was so happy. I was like, I'm just in Moo Moo Meadows right now. Or like you come across like the first Mario Kart circuit, like the first one from the SNES. It's like in the world. It's not a track necessarily, but like when you just stumble upon those things, it's so sweet. And this soundtrack is outstanding. This is a year where we got a great Metroid Prime 4 Beyond soundtrack, an amazing Donkey Kong Bonanza soundtrack, right? Pokemon Legends ZA, Donovan, went hard with their soundtrack. But Mario Kart World is the best soundtrack I think maybe ever shipped in a video game. Like, just the sheer amount of music.
Now, you say that, and I think it's the best Mario Kart soundtrack and in the top 3 Nintendo soundtracks. But what do you think about Mario Kart World soundtrack compared to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? That, to me, might be the best soundtrack ever shipped in a video game. Just because of the sheer diversity. Like, they captured all the guest characters, elite motifs and everything.
Tough film.
Why I think that's tough to compare is that has third-party IP in it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but Nintendo did the music, though, right? Like, it is Nintendo's orchestra.
No, but like, I mean the source material. Like, this is, me, this is like a celebration of just the Mario franchise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whereas, given the source material, I think it's almost unfair to compare Smash to any other soundtrack. But yeah, you're right. I'll cede you that. But like for a game that's just based on Nintendo IP, this is astonishing. And they fucking added that pause menu thing now. So when you pause, it tells you what song's playing. Thank you. I asked for this at launch. You gave it to me. And this is why I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. They're doing the little things to make this better, but they're doing it in the most Nintendo-ass way possible. Instead of giving us a fucking volume slider for the music, there's loud and normal. Those are your 2 toggles for it. But, like, they at least told me the song. Because how many times this year did I come into Slack with a clip and say, do you guys know what song this is? And, like, even in our own, our own comments, because, Lord knows I love reading YouTube comments, but, like, I posted so many P-Switch videos, and people would just be asking, not about the P-Switch, not where it is, not how to find it. They're asking, what song is playing in this video, right? Yeah. And, like, so often, I don't fucking know. But, like, this soundtrack is outstanding. It's like, I want to be there. It's like GTA-like, where it enhances those moments when you're in a place and it starts raining question mark blocks and you have the song hitting at that moment. So many times where I'm just chilling in this game. They got the vibes 100% right in this game. And that's super important to me. So, yeah, like, I feel like that's it. And then, like, yeah, most importantly, from a game perspective, this is that first game they launched with where Nintendo's like, hey, we figured out how to internet. We are internet capable now. Here's a 24-person online game. You can play with your friends. I think it's like 8 people can hang out and free roam together or whatever. Maybe more. Maybe it's 24 people in free roam. I'm not entirely sure. But, like, finally, I don't want to like give them a gold star for that, but if this game's online sucked, none of these things I'm praising would matter. It's not that I'm like, hey, you're getting a 9 out of 10 because you learned how to internet and Miyamoto reset the router. No, it's more just like, if you didn't do this, I would have given it an 8 kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, like those minimal things are why I'm giving it a 9. Like, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 game. I think it might be at the end of its life. It'll probably be the best Mario Kart game ever made. Right now, I think that's a debate between 8 Deluxe and this. And maybe, even in some cases, people feel really strongly about, like, Mario Kart DS or maybe Double Dash.
Double Dash, yeah.
But, like, both of those are great games. I just think that the gameplay in this is really what I care about the most. And then, secondly, the vibes. This game's got just great vibes. And I think that's important for a game that you're going to be playing for years and that you're going to hang out with your friends and play with. But also, like, just being able, like, they even integrate their stupid game chat. It's probably the best integration of game chat in a game where like you can pull up the map and you see where your friends are, or you see their faces when you're racing. Like it's a good implementation of game chat, even if game chat itself is kind of dumb. And then lastly, it looks really good. Like this is one of the best looking games. It's not using DLSS. This is like a native 2K game on the Switch 2, running at a great frame rate. I haven't seen any hitches. It runs great in handheld, and it runs great in docked mode, obviously. I think all those things are important here. But yeah, 9 out of 10 here. I finally did it. You'll be able to read my review probably when this podcast goes live as well. I wanted to hit that before we wrap up. But before we're done, as this is the last podcast of the year, 2025, I thought we mentioned it last week. I thought it'd be neat if we all picked our personal Nintendo Switch 2 game of the year. Who should go first?
I want to hear from Donovan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I go Pokemon Legends EA. I'll give it the love here. Just to talk about it a little bit more. Coming into the year was one of my most anticipated games, and I think that they just kind of met all of my expectations and in some cases exceeded them. I think that it's just the most fun I've had going on like a Pokemon journey in a game, just from beginning to end, not knowing what's going to happen next. It's a franchise that over the years has failed to surprise me time and time again, but with this one, they surprised me a lot. And it was just such a joy to see Lumio City kind of realized on a modern Nintendo system in a game that runs well, with new Pokemon, new Mega Evolved forms. It felt like a game that like fans and myself have been wanting for many years, and it delivered. It was a great time.
Nice. I see you nodding, David. Do you agree? Is that your game of the year as
well?
Oh,
yeah. Pokemon Legends ZA is so good. And, we've talked about this before on the podcast, Asif, but, whereas Donovan has kept up with Pokemon, I haven't played since Pokemon Yellow 99. Like, not seriously anyway. I think I bought Y. But I didn't play it much for whatever reason. I don't remember. But like this one just sucked me back in. There's so many new Pokemon to discover. I love the active combat. I'm having fun just figuring out, like, tweaking team composition. I love exploring the city. Yeah, I love this game. It's my favorite Switch 2 game of the year by a mile.
Nice. So yeah, I have some indie games I just want to highlight before I say my favorite first party game, but I think Skate Story is great on Switch 2, and I think Ball Pit is one of the best games ever.
Yeah,
I am hopelessly addicted to Ball Pit. So I just want to highlight that the Switch 2 remains a great system for indies. I think Deltarune shipped this year on it. Obviously, Hades 2 runs extremely well, console exclusive, and Hollow Knight Silksong also runs extremely well on the Switch 2. So I just want to shout out indies, and that indies still have a place on the Switch 2, and still kind of shine there. But yeah, for me, it's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's just a game that I anticipated forever. I mentioned it last episode that I bounced off of Metroid Prime 3 because I didn't like the Wii hardware for it. I didn't like playing first-person perspective games. I didn't like waggling. I got tired of waggling in that era. So like for me, it's been even longer than 18 years in a lot of ways. I am stunned by this game, Donovan. It's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I'm playing it in fidelity, not performance mode, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of it, man. The levels are masterfully designed. I think the psychic powers add like a new dimension to puzzle solving and problem solving in the game. I like the balance of Morph Ball and Viola and all that stuff. The narrative for the Switch 1 was it wasn't very powerful. It couldn't run good games. And out of all the games that came out this year, Metroid Prime 4 shows that, like, hey, this thing is super powerful and it can do a lot if you have the right team working on it and you optimize properly. So to me, it has to do with the performance of the game. Otherwise, I would have given it to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Donkey Kong Bonanza is the game I had the most fun playing this year across all systems everywhere. So I do want to show some love to Donkey Kong. Like, no game made me smile more this year, Donovan, than Donkey Kong Bonanza.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's just, and like Pokemon did too. Like I absolutely agree with everything you guys said about Pokemon Legends ZA. Shows you how stacked of a year this was, and like kind of a year of rebirth for some of these Nintendo IP. Like getting a 3D Donkey Kong game, getting this first-person Metroid game, right? Getting Metroid Prime finally. It gives me hope that other Nintendo franchises could also see a revival on this system, because it has the power to really showcase something like a new Star Fox or an Ocarina of Time remake, David. Like,
yes.
Like, how good? Like, you take this Zelda Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom engine that is running 4K 60, right? These Switch 2 editions. You take that engine and you take the game that is Ocarina of Time and you rebuild it in this engine. That might be one of the greatest games ever made, if they do that.
Absolutely. I mean, and it already is, right? Like Ocarina of Time is already one of the greatest games. It's still the highest rated game ever on Metacritic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like this version could top it.
So like games like Metroid Prime give me the confidence that I'm like, you know what? I'm right to like my Switch 2. I'm right to be optimistic about the future of the Switch 2. And I think Metroid Prime 4 is an example of that. But also, like, this is the best performing Pokemon game, like, performance-wise ever. Like, those little tooltips and the little tooltips in the load screen, you can't even read. It loads that fast. So I think those are the games where I'm like, this really highlights it. Obviously, Mario Kart World also highlights what the Switch can do, what the Switch 2 can do. But yeah, like I'm hopeful for games like Ice Climber or Star Fox or Kid Icarus. Like, I want them to lean into this revival that is kind of started this year. And like, it does feel like a Super Nintendo in a lot of ways, right? Where it's like, this is a better Switch. I said it in my Switch 2 review. I'm like, it's a better Switch. And you need those games to highlight it. And I think that Donkey Kong does it in its own way. Mario Kart does it in its own way. And Pokemon does it in its own way. And Metroid does it in its own way. But also just from a third-party perspective. Cyberpunk. Like, just really impressive stuff all year long. From, like, it's not the most powerful system, but it's the most powerful Nintendo system ever. And it shows. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is the one where I'm like, I had to play all these other games for Game of the Year deliberation. But that was the one I was like, I want to go play that. And then when I had to play a game that I didn't like in the Game of the Year deliberations, I went back and I played some Ball Pit for some palate cleansing. Because I am hopelessly addicted to Ball Pit. I will say this before we go. Dispatch should be on Switch too.
Definitely should. Yep.
Yes. So
since it came out,
what's that studio's name?
Ad Hoc.
Ad Hoc. If you're listening, or Nintendo PR person, if you're listening, get Dispatch on the Switch too. Like, right? I would play through it again if I had that in handheld. That'd be a perfect kind of airplane game, Donovan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Bite-sized episodes you can knock out.
Yeah.
50-ish minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I'll do it. We did it. That's the end of our first year, not full year, but our first year of This Week in Switch 2. So yeah, the primary focus of this podcast was to review the Switch 2, which I did, and to review Mario Kart World, which I did. But we're not done. We'll be back next year. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to remain a story for a while here. And we already know we got Mario Tennis Fever coming. We got Pokemon Pokopia coming. We have Tomodachi, whatever the hell. Rhythm Heaven got a game coming. And Lord knows what unannounced Nintendo games await. You know, that's the thing I find most exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, who knows? Maybe even someday we'll have an F-Zero game to talk about. Wouldn't that be something?
Now you say that, but you got one 2 years ago. That's not so bad.
I know, but I mean like a
Like a
F-Zero 9,
modern engine.
Look, I love Tetris 99, but Tetris Effect,
Oh yeah.
that's a new game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love F-Zero 99, but man, F-Zero NX, that would be a new game. And based on everything I've been saying, like, you take what Metroid Prime 4 Beyond does right with the whole performance and fidelity balance, and you apply that to an F-Zero game, and yeah, I won't stop talking about that for years. And yeah, you're right. I have F-Zero 99, and I'm happy that I have F-Zero 99, and I'm happy I can go back to playing it now that I've reviewed Mario Kart World. Because I prefer F-Zero 99 to Mario Kart World. I do. And it shows up in my review scores. 10 for one of them, 9 for the other. Because, like I said, I prefer racing games that reward your racing skills. And Mario Kart World, man, is it frustrating. The RNG of that game is infuriating at times. But it doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just is a different kind of game. So yeah, that'll do it. Once again, thanks for watching, Doug Bowser. I'll probably follow you back. I think I should, right?
Yeah.
You should.
And yeah, keep it locked on this YouTube channel here, or on the podcast facilities that you're listening to us on. If you're listening to us on the audio podcast, we have a ton of Shacknews Awards that we're going to be announcing on the website, shacknews.com, but also on youtube.com/shacknews. So like, follow, and subscribe here on the YouTube channel to see, I think it's like 48 different awards that we handed out this year. Best Nintendo Switch 2 game. We had the whole staff weigh in on that. That was a heated debate. We had obviously the game of the year, best Xbox game, best publisher, best developer, all sorts of good stuff. Best Strand game. So yeah, keep it locked on Shack News. This is our last episode, so we won't see you until 2026. I'm sure nothing will happen between now and then, right? No news at all. But David, we have an Animal Crossing update to look forward to in early 26. And yeah, we'll be able to talk about whatever the hell we played over break. So thanks to everyone who's watched over the last 31 episodes. Thanks if you discovered us through a vertical video. Hi, and I'm sorry for pissing you off, and I blame Donovan for whatever happened. Or if you're here because David's Donkey Kong take made you angry, that's the guy. That's the guy you throw your pitchfork at. That's the guy. It wasn't me. I'm the guy who yells about Xbox on a Nintendo podcast. Rightly so. But anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.